Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel, and I was all ready today to really kind of be hard on this guy. Of course, this is Cyberverse Shockwave, the deluxe class offering. And while I was all prepared to kind of rake this guy over the coals, I gotta say, man, color me impressed in a lot more ways than I expected. He's gonna be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light 'em up, baby! Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all my social media links, all of that down in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. And this is Deluxe Class Cyberverse Shockwave. And like I said, I thought I was going to be hard on this guy. And don't get me wrong, what he transforms into, that weird walking tank thing, is weird. I don't know if it's good. But when I look at him next to the animation, when I look at the range of motion and the engineering that went into his articulation, color me impressed. Now I will note that when I do the transformation, there are a couple of little, I'll drop his blaster there, little bits that flip up right here. I forget to flip those out. So I'll be aware of that right now. They don't really do much. I mean, they flip up fine, and they're easily forgotten. But they are one thing that I overlooked that should be done when you put him into his walking tank mode. There's actually a lot here to unpack, and I'm a lot more impressed than I thought I was going to be. So without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And yes, indeed, today we're going to be looking at a Cyberverse Deluxe offering of Shockwave. It's not often that I get to look at things from Cyberverse. The Deluxes, however, were long overdue for that line. It's what the line should have been from the very, very beginning. And this is on loan to me by friend of the channel, Micheal. We're going to grade him as we always do. Of course, I don't have packaging, but here's what he does come with, and here's what I do have to show before we look at him. But before we look at that, take note of the position he is in here. There's actually a ton of articulation here, enough that I'm actually pretty excited to show it coming out of Cyberverse. We got ourselves some handy dandy instructions, and you know what? They're actually pretty good instructions, as well as this nicely molded gray blaster. The pink is paint. The base mold is gray. As for the black or the gunmetal gray, I'm not sure if that's paint or if that is inserted plastic. This can take a blast effect up on the tip where my finger is right here. And speaking of a blast effect, he comes with this pink doozy of an effect, and it is in two parts. So if you wanted, you could take the blast piece, this piece off, and just have the long laser effect if you're so inclined. And of course he holds his blaster just fine, no problem, if you are so inclined. However, you could put the blaster, of course it would want to fall off now. Put the blast effect over there, and this blaster, if you don't want it in his hand, it can actually go stored back right there facing down, or I guess facing up if you want. So you have all of these options. I do dig it. I think it's pretty versatile. The blast effect is all right. The blaster is pretty good. So far, so good. Here's how he looks. And yes, indeed, here he is with my Shockwave of choice, my Shockwave du jour, if you will, the Siege Leader class offering. I know. A lot of people have said the same thing. He's a Voyager with add-on parts. But let's kind of assume that he is kind of a typical Voyager. You can see just how big of a deluxe the Cyberverse Shockwave is. He's actually fairly substantial, all things considered. As a matter of fact, he clocks in at 77 grams, including his blast effect. He is the exact same mass as Studio Series Hot Rod, with all of his stuff included, all of his add-ons included. and for some reason they charged a Voyager price for that. This is literally the exact same mass of plastic. And before you say, oh, the Studio Series Hot Rod has so much more engineering, don't cut this guy short. I think you're gonna be surprised. In terms of scores for the guy, his paint apps, his look is really accurate. The pink lines on his blaster arm, they should be a little more stylized than what they are. They're mostly straight. And his hose shouldn't be pink, it should be more of a gray. Down on his toes, we have like 2 holes kind of right there and there. They should actually be purple. So he's really close. I'm going to say honestly a 9.5. I'm pretty impressed with how close to the animation this guy is. Oh, what about the articulation? Well, that's where this guy kind of shines. So the head, it can go left and it can go right. Not really any up or down that I can get. The earpieces go back, that's for transformation. The arms, both of them can go all the way around, out to the side all the way. We have 90 degrees for short the elbow. We have a bicep swivel. We have a wrist rotation on the guy. We have hip skirts that can get up out of the way. We have a free waist. We have legs all the way back, legs all the way forward, legs all the way out to the side. We have super deep knee. We have a thigh swivel, or really it's more of a knee swivel, I guess I should say. We have foot forward, back, and yes, we do have ankle tilt with the guy. And this arm is the same thing, honestly. This arm over here works the same way. The hose piece is attached to the blaster piece, so it's up to you kind of how you want to handle that, but it has all the same movement. Nothing is hindered anywhere on this guy. Everything moves free, it moves well, it moves smooth. It's like most of it is hinge and swivel, if not all of it. 9.75, 10. I want to say 10. You know, I'm going to say 10. The only possible thing he's missing is articulated fingers, honestly, and I kind of wouldn't expect it for this price point. If I compare this guy to, say, that Hot Rod, because they're the same mass, so it would kind of make sense to compare them, the advantage that the Hot Rod does have is he does have articulated fingers, but his shoulders are more limited, or not so much limited, they're cumbersome. He does have the flip head gimmick for the visor, I guess, I suppose. Before anybody says, yeah, but this guy has hollow bits, the only hollowness on this guy at all is right there on the thigh, on the inside of the thigh. Minimal, really, really minimal. The rest of this guy's filled in really nicely. So we have a 9.5 and what I'm calling a 10, arguably 9.75 if you really want articulated fingers. So overall now, I'm going to say he is getting a 9.75. Then we get to the transformation. Now, the transformation is undoubtedly weird. Very weird. And what he turns into is weird. Very weird. The hardest part, at least on this copy of the mold, is definitely the chest. What this results in is definitely stylized. It first says to remove this from his hand and take it off of the backpack back here, basically. I'm not, like, take it out of there just so it's not kind of falling around. I'm not doing that. I'm going to actually leave it in. Then we take the earpieces and we bring those back and we flip the chest up over, but it's real tight on this copy. When you have it up over, you push down into place, it will click. Then you take the arms here and really you open them out and you open up this foot piece and you flip the hand in and you close the arm up and kind of just put the foot piece there and rotate around. So now you have kind of a foot piece. I'm calling it a foot. I don't know what it is officially called, but I'm going to call it a foot. Open out that hand and forearm, put the forearm in, put that back, rotate around. And that's really kind of the front of the guy done. Then we rotate the legs around. Oh, I guess the back of the leg is also hollow. I don't know if hollowness is enough though for me to be like, hey, I'm okay with you charging me a Voyager price for a deluxe. If it is for you, cool. It's not for me. Then we can put this piece down and oh, no, I'm sorry. This piece stays back. My mistake. My mistake. That piece stays back because we need access to that hole there for this to peg down into. If I can bring it around there like that. Then when it comes to the blaster, they say you can put it there. I mean, you could put it up here if you wanted, but I believe the actual instructions suggest putting it right there. And boom, in the end, here we have Shockwave in his weird crawling thing mode. So this mode is going to be a challenge anyway. I mean, it is what it is, you know? It's successful. It looks like the thing in the show that he turned into, which was like this walking tank type of thing. It's certainly functional. You can do it with this piece left in, or you can take it out. He still has full range of motion in the legs and the hips. He still has full range of motion in the shoulders and the elbows and the arms to get in whatever kind of crawling pose that you could possibly want him to get into. I don't think many people are going to spend much time actually converting Shockwave to this. Maybe some will, but I don't feel like that this is... I don't feel like his alt mode is where he shines, period. But he pulls it off very successfully. It makes sense. It's a logical transformation. The chest is the only hard part. I find you really needed to kind of loosen that up a little bit. I'm going to say that the transformation works, though. The way it's designed, whether that's good or not is a different story. I'm going to say it's a solid... The chest is pretty tight, so I'm going to say it's a solid 9. He was getting a 9.75. I'm going to say overall the guy's about a 9.3. It is a very good Shockwave if you like Cyberverse. It is a very good offering if you like Cyberverse. But for this to appeal to you, for this to get the score that it gets, I think you have to be a fan of Cyberverse and a fan of that iteration of Shockwave. If you are, this guy is an absolute win. And here we are, and here he is, and like, I think he's great. And I say that because I expected less. Like, I did not expect the legs to have a full free range of motion as they do. I did not necessarily expect these hip skirts to get out of the way as effectively as they do. I certainly did not expect a wrist swivel. I did not expect the knees to be as deep of a range as what they are. You know, there's a lot here to like. Honestly, there is a lot here to like. I thought that the hose here was going to be a lot more rigid than it is. What strikes me is that this guy, with all of everything included, is the exact same mass as Studio Series Hot Rod, 86 Hot Rod. And admittedly, the engineering on Hot Rod is higher. There's no doubt about it. I don't think it's high enough to justify a Voyager price point, but it is a little bit higher than it is here. But don't be fooled. This guy is no slouch. He is, honestly, a strong contender for anyone to have in their collection as a definitive version of a Shockwave. He can take that role because he is that good. It's not the Shockwave for me. For me, my Shockwave forever will be the G1 guy. But if somebody chooses to go this route, I totally understand it. He's excellent, he's fun, he's functional. If you don't like his alt mode, that's an aesthetic thing. I don't like his alt mode. But if you're cool with his alt mode, he gets there and gets back to robot easily. It's logical. It makes sense. And once you have him in robot, everything he can do here is extremely rewarding. Even when you put him in the weird walking tank mode, he retains all of his articulation and it's very rewarding. There's a lot here to like. Don't undersell Deluxe Class Shockwave. That's my advice for the day. Let me know what you think about this guy, though. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us, and don't forget that somehow, someway, each and every single day, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, baby, right here. inside the video.